God of War 3 is the 5th and 8th game in the God of War franchise, the end of Kratos' story. That is until the 9th game, God of War. Alright. In 2010, Kratos had already defeated Ares, the God of War, and taken his place, only to lose it years later by being a dickhead. Stripped of his powers, Kratos travels to the Isle of Creation in search of the Fates to undo Zeus' betrayal, after murdering several heroes and creatures of myth. Kratos obtained the power to manipulate the strings of fate, which he promptly used to accidentally murder Athena. He uses the strings again to gather the Titans and storm Olympus. And that's where this game starts. That's something the original God of War games did well. The game starts at a 10 by executing on an abilities while the fucking gods and titans are engaged in battle. I mean, fuck, this game looks good. And welcome to Gaia's Modern Art Exhibit. Here's where we get a reaffirmation of two of the series' motifs. Kratos kills somebody horribly, and Kratos gets betrayed. Something else the opening establishes: the deaths of the gods have catastrophic consequences. From the get-go, it's clear that the people of Greece are fucked. They don't matter. They don't fucking matter. They're polygons. They don't fucking matter. Evidence A! It is raining literal men! Kratos is in Hades for like the 5th or 6th time, and then Athena's a ghost, and she gives Kratos some new blades. That's pretty cool. I had a theory that Athena was supposed to be an agent of the Judeo-Christian god, but I think she represents something else. Let's put that on the shelf right next to the raining men and the MGS3 style murder bombs. Anyway, Kratos is set in killing Zeus and anyone that gets in his way, including the Titans, or sometimes some rando who just wants some help. Jesus Christ, Kratos. That's a common thing. The gods fuck somebody over and Kratos decides to make the situation worse for them.
Poseidon, why the fuck you doing this? Kratos, what the fuck?
Alright, as an aside, this needs to be said. These games have a history of sexism. Whoa, gonna talk about that in your first video, bud? Yeah, 50 is dead. I guess that's what I did there. One problem with this game turning everything up to 11 is that these games are hyper-masculine, but the masculinity represented tends to be of the aggressive, toxic, hypersexual kind. This is the 3rd game in the core franchise, and the first on the new hardware of the PS3. The old games looked good, but sometimes the violence had to be abstracted, as they couldn't be very detailed. They were PS2 games after all. But God of War 3 decides to go hard on the detail. I think part of this can be attributed to the new director, Stig Asmussen, who worked on the other games in the art department, even becoming art director of God of War 2. That's not a problem. The older God of War games were more about doing cool shit and looking good doing it. An art director makes perfect sense, but he's also got some shoes to fill. The first God of War was a groundbreaking game. The second garnered higher praise than the first. So what are you gonna do if you're in this position? Fucking double down on that wild fucking nature. What were the past God of War games known for? Huge bosses. How about huger bosses? Brutal kills. How about brutaler kills? Kratos being a dick? How about Kratos being even more of a dick? Which leads to shit like this where Kratos drags a sex slave through a sex dungeon to use her as a human doorstop. It's fucking excessive in a way that feels more disgusting than fun or funny. Then they turn the goddess of love to the goddess of fuck. And I mean, that's definitely part of her shit. And some of the series' sex minigames have been funny, like the one in Ghost of Sparta. Problem is, they exist in a franchise where women are treated like shit. Either they're dead so Kratos has motivation, they're evil, or they're sex objects. These games were definitely designed to be male power fantasies, and women don't typically have a place in those. Well, not one they want to occupy. Kratos begins to form a relationship with a young girl who reminds him of his daughter. So the game wants Pandora, yes, of Pandora's box, kinda, to be the catalyst for Kratos' redemption, especially since you can tell they meant for this quote to be the emotional core of the game.
Hope is what makes us strong. It is why we are here. It is what we fight with when all else is lost.
It's not though. I mean, it is and it isn't. But not the way it's presented. God of War 3 tries to retcon the god's shitty behavior as a result of Kratos unleashing the evils within Pandora's box, which doesn't excuse the behaviors of the Titans, or the gods in Ascension, Chains of Olympus, and Ghost of Sparta. At the end of the game, you learn that Kratos absorbed the power of hope, which is why he was able to kill Zeus. Problem is, Kratos is an unrepentant asshole throughout the game. Throughout the series, really. Nothing this girl does will change that, especially not since they don't really meet face to face until just before the end. However, the game argues that Kratos is a hope of humanity. He's not. Evidence here where he gets a man for health orbs. That, and he tells Hephaestus, who is actively helping Kratos, that he's gonna murder his daughter immediately after fucking his wife. You wanna give this guy a redemption arc? Fucking really?
I did what had to be done.
But hope is a part of this story. It's just gonna take us a bit to get there. Let's move on to Hercules. Little known fact about my man Heracles: in Greek myth, he killed his family in a violent rage. despite his name literally translating to Glory of Hera, Hera absolutely hated him, trying to get him killed numerous times. She was also the one who tricked Heracles into killing his family. Now the game chooses to call him Hercules, and Hera's on his side in this one instance, but Hercules is jealous of the fame and power Kratos has gained throughout the decade. Hercules is nothing more than a jealous brother. He doesn't care that innocent people are dying, he doesn't care that Kratos is effectively destroying the world, he only cares about respect and power. And he's supposed to be Greece's greatest hero. All that, and he's played by an actual not very good. But that's the thing, if Kratos dies at any point, it wouldn't matter. Another Kratos would take his place. The power structure is unstable, it's built on fear and paranoia. The gods fucking suck and I hate them! Okay, so how about a little backstory? At the beginning there was chaos, the endless nothing. An abyss for which time and space meant nothing, for they hadn't been born. Gaia was one of the first to emerge out of the chaos. Out of her womb came Uranus, who later came in Gaia's womb to father several children. Uranus became paranoid of the strength of some of his children, so he locked them up in Tartarus. Gaia did not appreciate that, so she forged a scythe and commanded her free children to castrate Uranus to death. Kronos decided to do it. After he chopped his father's nuts off, Uranus prophesied to Kronos that a child of Kronos's would kill him and take his place. Kronos killed Uranus and took his spot as the king god, but Uranus' last words stayed with him. Paranoid, Kronos ate his children whole. Rhea, Kronos' wife, was able to save Zeus, the youngest of the children. When Zeus came of age, he freed his brothers and sisters, overthrew the Titans, and became the new king of gods. So according to mythology, this cycle of infighting spans 3 generations at least, not counting any of the demigods antagonized by the actual gods. A generation which Kratos and Hercules would be a part of. The death of Kratos is supposed to end that cycle? Alright, time to go back to the shelf. Anytime Kratos kills a god, he unleashes a biblical disaster of some sort. A flood for Poseidon, a horde of spirits for Hades, darkness for Helios, a plague for Hermes, the death of all the plants in Greece for Hera, and fear for Zeus. The gods are interwoven within the linen fabric of Greece. That's the best Greek pun I can do to justify the cliche expression, sorry. The rule of cruelty and paranoia is systemic. The only way to change Greece is to tear down the system that created it. Yo, Athena's a ghost. How about that? Well, what if I were to say to you that Athena represents the core of the cruel system that created Kratos? What do I mean by that? Check this out. Athena has always been a helpful guide to the heroes of Greek myth. A few things, though. The story of Arachne involves a mortal woman who is the best weaver in all of Greece. She challenged Athena to an orb weaving contest, and in some stories she won. Athena was super pissed and turned her into a spider. That's a no good. If you want to know about an even more fucked up thing Athena did to a woman, you should check out how Medusa became the scary, ugly snake lady. Just a heads up, it involves sexual assault. Let's go back to Athena in the games. After Kratos breaks his pact with Ares, she becomes Kratos' liaison. She sends Kratos on a quest to kill Ares because he is fucking up her shit. Kratos does, and Athena grants him godhood. Fast forward to Ghost of Sparta, and Kratos' past haunts him. Athena advises Kratos against investigating his past because, oh boy, did he get fucked! Kratos finds out his brother is still alive, and he goes through a bunch of fucking bullshit to save him, only for him to die. Athena shows up to try and placate Kratos, but he's having none of that. God of War 2 happens, and it starts out with Athena begging Kratos to stop wilding with the fucking wars. Then she shows up at the end to take the blade for Zeus. Now she's gonna show up in this game, telling Kratos he has to kill Zeus. What's up with that? Post God of War 1, it always felt like Athena was trying to keep Kratos within arm's reach in case some shit goes down. Athena doesn't want Kratos to uncover aspects of his past, because she knows that Kratos will get super pissed and want revenge. But she gives him godhood? That seems weird. She gives her life for Zeus, but then tasks Kratos with killing him just a few hours later, and I mean a few hours later. Between God of War 2 and God of War 3, that's like 10 minutes. She's in charge of the equilibrium. Ares threatened the Olympian power structure, so Kratos had to step in and correct it. Ares needed to be replaced, and Kratos fit the description of angry person who likes war. In God of War 2, Athena tries to keep the equilibrium by warning Kratos that he's veering out of his lane. Kratos becomes just like Ares, except worse. He's aimless. Zeus, the patriarch of the Olympians, is about to die. Save him. A war's about to break out between the Titans and the Olympians. Come back from the dead and try to trick Kratos into wiping the slate so that she can start over. Her job is to keep everything in check, but things have gotten so wild there's no choice but to start over. Even if the gods defeat Kratos and the Titans, they're only going to become further entrenched in the dark grips of paranoia. The fire started in their house. Athena needs to hit the reset button. However, the same forces that birthed these abstractions of fear and doubt birthed her. What has she done besides gaslight Kratos to get him to do what she wants? And at the end, after Kratos just keeps beating Zeus's corpse, she appears. After Kratos has spread chaos throughout Greece and left it a squalid husk of what was once a cultural juggernaut, she praises him.
You have done well, Kratos. For freed from the bondage of Olympus and cleansed in chaos, mankind is now ready to hear my message.
She's the same type of manipulative asshole Zeus had been, that Gaia had been, that Ares had been.
Hope is what makes us strong. It is why we are here. It is what we fight with when all else is lost.
In the myth of Pandora's box, Pandora opened a jar containing many evils. I know, I'm sorry, I'm being pedantic. Pandora was able to keep one thing locked up though. Hope. Though that's the translation, it's believed that what she kept locked away was false hope. Something Athena traffics in. Kratos understands how awful the gods are. I'd say no one but him understands the depths of their immorality. He's had enough.
My vengeance ends now.
God of War 3 is the story of a terrible man and the terrible world that helped create him. There is no redemption for Kratos. He doesn't deserve it. But neither do the Olympians, nor Greece. They all have to be destroyed for the world to have any hope. From its desiccated corpse, perhaps something better can thrive. And considering God of War's current incarnation still treats women like their plot points, rather than as fully functioning characters, it seems like there's still some rebuilding that needs doing.
Found some.
Get in the boat, boy.